Hey boys and girls, today what we're going to do is a quick comment on on this wonderful video that Tesla's put out. I haven't any idea how many drones they lost in this production, but I will tell you, this is pretty exciting. When we first saw it, our guy here said this is not for people who get queasy, and that's a fact. This is really amazing.
Yeah, Sandy, so this is a normal body side outer line. This isn't that atypical from what you normally see in a plant, is that correct?
Yeah, so lay down body side ring, there's a whole bunch of names for it, but at the end of the day, the fact that you can actually watch what's going on, like this is now what they're doing is they're extracting the rear mega casting. So you can see there that
all the runners.
The runners and the gates and whatnot.
So
this is this is really spectacular.
So I stopped it here, Sandy, so we can quickly talk about. Tell them a little bit about what a body shop looks like in a plant and how the mega casting or giga casting helps reduce the size of the body shop.
Okay, so if we have a look at this, what you're looking at here is the side of the vehicle, the lay-down body side ring, sometimes it's called. And there'd be two of these, one on each side. And then this lower section here, that would usually be called the platform. And the platform is basically made of a myriad of componentry. And it would have the front of the vehicle, the rear of the vehicle, and the floor of the vehicle. Now, in this kind of a process, that doesn't happen, because what's happening here is this lay-down body side ring is going to be transported along, and you're going to see how it's going to be attached to the rear mega casting. That eliminates hundreds of parts and thousands and thousands of spot welds. So this is a really, really small assembly line in comparison to what you'd normally see.
And beyond just spot welds, like you mentioned, the rear of the Model 3, which we received back in 2017 or 18, it was a mixed material rear body. So there was SPRs, self-piercing rivets. There was
two kinds of welds. You had concentric and normal spot welds.
And a huge amount of liquid adhesive.
Yeah.
So having that one massive large part eliminates a lot of the operations in the rear of the car, and you can see that as we hit play here.
Well, not only that, what you're looking at is not only do you eliminate the these components that we were just talking about, but you also eliminate a whole bunch of subassemblies. Yeah. There's tons of little subassemblies that disappeared.
Now, Sandy, what do we see? What do we see here? So these Model Y bodies have a floor structure. So we were expecting to see that floor structure integrated into the battery pack. And these are not original Model Ys, because our first Model Y had the rear mega casting split in two. This is the large rear mega casting. But what I've seen is a lot of the stamped structure, even up in the front. So we were also expecting a front mega casting, which we don't see here, Sandy.
Yeah, that front of dash looks a little different than what I was expecting. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were kind of hoping that there'd be two castings, one casting for the rear, one casting for the front. And initially, I was under the impression that there was no front casting, but I can't tell this thing's moving too quick.
Yeah, and I had watched this over the weekend real quickly, but not in depth, and all of the shots of the drone, they avoid showing a close-up of the front end. Only very few times as we work through here can you see from the drone angle the front end of the vehicle. And to me, it looks like it's not a casting, which it's not a bad thing. Tesla has been shown to integrate things at a really fast pace, so we'll have to see.
Yeah. Well, they're not shy on throwing out investment. If you invest sometimes, that is not a casting.
So notice how all the views are the rear of the car.
Yeah.
And right there, you can almost, you want to see it, and then the hood covers it. They just don't allow you to see the dash or the front casting.
Front of dash, yeah.
Now, Sandy, tell people what you see. So these people, this is not what a plant normally looks like. Normally you have thousands of people there.
Right.
This is clearly a launch team and a very slow-paced manufacturing.
Right, and what they're basically doing is discussing whatever the efforts are going to be for that day, or for, in this probably case here, we're probably looking at about a half a dozen stations that they want to make sure are ironed out completely. Debug is what you do at the beginning of any program launch, and there's always little things that don't work quite the way you thought. Solenoids that don't trip on the or don't actuate properly on the assembly line, or welding equipment that doesn't actually weld. So this is the time that you prove this out, and so that's that little team right there. That would be a launch team. My guess is the guy with the white gloves on and the marker in his hand is the lead, and these guys would all be they're floor people. They'll be the guys who actually make everything work. You don't see too many engineers on those.
So, now this is where you're decking the battery to the body, and I think they went by it real quickly, but you could see that the top of the battery pack had 4 strips of foam, and this would be final.
Yeah. The one thing that I think is brilliant about this video is it's really lively and engaging. We'll give you a version of what another company put out, General Motors put out on the Lyric. This thing here is captivating. I mean, you can't look away. It's really, really exciting. You won't see that same excitement, if you like, when you have a look at a normal drone video that is put out by the normal, the normal OEMs. Even BMW's even BMW's drone videos of the BMW i3 being put together weren't what this is exciting. I don't know who did that, but maybe some of these other companies should think about maybe putting out something like this. Yeah. This is really really cutting edge.
Yeah, so I had a few people from the investment community reach out and give my take on what was happening here on this video, and I wanted to make it very clear that this is well before full production.
Yeah.
They were confused looking at it as to whether or not that's how many people would be in the plant when you're pumping cars out. Absolutely not the case. It looks like it was several months ago it was filmed.
Yeah. Well, the back end of the plant wasn't even finished. Yeah.
And one thing this plant will be known for is it'll be able to pump out vehicles every 12 hours. It's 12 hours of manufacturing, which is about less than half of VW. So a big push for VW.
Actually, we should qualify that. 12 hours is hours per vehicle. Mm-hmm. Hours per vehicle, as a rule, 12 hours is a really, especially for an EV, is a really low number. Mm-hmm. Volkswagen, I think
30.
They had I thought it was higher than that. But anyways, minimum of 30. I've heard a variety of different numbers, but all of them were bigger than 30. That's an impossible task to try and cut your time rate down by 50% or 60%. You can't do that when you've got a huge number of bits and pieces inside the car. So a 12-hour car is really kind of amazing. Mm-hmm. Amazing.
Now you can play a little
game. Let me rephrase that, EV car.
Yeah. There's little games you can play, like whether you count the hours of building up the battery pack in the plant for trim chassis final, or whether that's a supplied part, because the battery can take quite a long time to manufacture. Yeah. But what is your summary of that video?
Well, the video is really, really quite good. If you know absolutely nothing about about what the inside workings of a factory are, that is a really good primer. So you can have a look at how that car is being put together, how the stamping dies work, the major components that would be associated with putting it together, like the welding operations and whatnot. That's a really good video. Way better than the original ones that they put out when they first started cranking the Model 3 and later on the Model Y. This video is spectacular.
All right, great.
Yeah.
A little bit of housekeeping. This video will most likely be coming out on Wednesday. If not, this can be cut out. But Sandy and I and Eric, we're going to be in Texas. So if you're down in Austin for some of the events going on the 6th, the 7th, or the 8th, you can find Sandy and I and Eric around town. We'll be at various different events. So an opportunity for a meet and greet, say hi. Yeah. And I will be bringing 100 signed laminates with me. So I'll be selling them at $100 off, $50 a piece in person. If you can find me, I'm going to be carrying them with me. Yeah. And anything else?
Yeah. So for those folks who who thought I was going to be going through the factory, I didn't. I was uninvited. So I won't be going through. Not sure exactly why, but I'm sure that they've got a lot more important people than us. It was really kind of tragic. I was really hoping to see that, but we're hoping that we'll see you there when we come by on Wednesday, walking around. And by the way, it's Texas, so I will be wearing my cowboy hat. Yep.
All right.
Good deal. All right. Well, thanks for watching, and keep tuning in to Munro Live. Thank you, and hopefully we'll see you Wednesday. Bye.